What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I'm JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub. With our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
Well, JJ Wang, we are 1 week left in the fantasy football regular season. If it's been done right in your league, if not, good luck in the playoffs with all those bye
Yeah,
weeks next week.
yeah, it was finally a good fantasy week. A lot of points scored. I only ended up losing one league this week, and that was in the Bourbon League. Well, that's always losing that. So.
I think it's kind of cool. Like I was saying this, we both must have had like the weeks of our year. Like we got a gajillion teams. I've never had a week where I'm usually by the end of the 1 o'clock games, I'm like, hey, looking pretty good. Then 4 o'clock games just kicking my tail. And this week, the only game I also was one where I was playing against the second team in the league where I'm gonna back into the playoffs, probably be like 5-7 or 5-8 or whatever it is. I'm going to be 6-8 is what it's going to be, and I'll be the 5 seed maybe or 6 seed the way it's looking. So, uh, but I need to get healthy in that league, so it's not too bad. But yeah, I had a pretty good week. But as we got a lot to talk about this week, a lot of pleasure, a lot of pain. But if you get a chance, hit us up with Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're gearing down the season with our regular season talk. Keep paying attention as we get to the off season. We're gonna hit a lot of dynasty discussion. Pop us questions on the fanscarriers at gmail.com. Hit us up on the website. We are everywhere you can listen to a podcast, and check us out on YouTube. I put together the video on YouTube. Our views are going a little down on YouTube, which makes me want to not push that button anymore. But we're going to still put it out there for you. If you want to see it, it's there. Share it with your friends. Say, hey, we know these two guys who know their stuff, and sometimes they get lucky.
Sometimes.
Most of the times they either get lucky or they're really, really, really wrong. So check us out, hit us up, find your favorite video. If you get onto our Facebook page, there's a really cool Spotify year in review thing I put on there, which just shows like different places we've been. It was kind of a cool little video to watch as we got in. So let's jump into week 13. Really, this week we're gonna do injuries quick because they'll sort of hit other spaces. Two injuries. Adam Thielen for the Minnesota Vikings, high ankle sprain, be out for a couple of weeks. We'll talk about what to do with him when we're in the waiver section, but that really kicks me because I have him in 2 leagues. Do you
Yeah,
have any Adam Thielen? You don't, do you?
I don't have any of him, but as soon as I buy into him, he gets injured. That's usually about how it goes. Luckily, I didn't have him. I think it
Thanks
was
a
a lot
lot.
of touchdowns.
Thanks a lot, man. And then Justin Jefferson went bananas after that. We're not going to talk about him in a bit because he's just really good, but he went bananas. And he probably will go bananas again for the next couple of weeks. So, also on the Washington football team, Logan Thomas scored that touchdown, then went down. It was feared season ending, ACL, PCL, whatever, all those L's on his knee. But they said X-rays, MRI came back, yes, on Monday, rather. I'm trying to get my days in order. That he might avoid season ending injury and he might be back for maybe week 7. So it might be more of a strain than a tear, but we'll see. They could be optimistic, or it could be. Would you pick up Ricky Seals-Jones if Logan Thomas was your only tight end?
I mean, I guess if he was your only tight end, but good luck. Like, the tight end landscape. One
Yeah.
catch I think Jimmy Graham had a line of one catch for one touchdown, and he was like tight end 9 or something like that. Something
Yeah.
stupid.
So I guess I realized I have a lot of I have a team where I have Goddard and Gesicki this week. So I'm hitting the waiver wire, and the waiver wire basically is Jared Cook, and then it's going to be the backup tight end in Denver, who I don't want to disrespect his name, and a couple other guys. So it's hopefully I win that waiver. Don't listen. Hopefully you're not listening. Just ignore that. But they process tonight, so we should be okay. Oh, so
Yeah.
pleasure and
Yes.
pain. You're gonna love this pleasure, man. I'm gonna let you start out this mess.
Yeah, there's a lot of pleasure this week, not a lot of pain. That's kind of how you want to live life, but you got to go have a little bit here and there. But this first one, this first 3 quarterbacks that I'm going to talk about, probably won't get a chance to mention their name again. This is probably the only time we've mentioned their name all year. Run through them real quick. It was Zach Wilson who had 227 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, and he ran one. Had Gardner Minshew with the surprise start, looking cool in his bomber jacket. He had 242, 2 touchdowns. He did have a fumble. And then Jared Goff, bringing the Lions to their first win, a little walk-off. He had 296 and 3 touchdowns. He also had a fumble. So I'm going to ask you a question. If you were in a dynasty league, right, How would you rank these three quarterbacks in Dynasty? 1, 2, 3.
I was going to say 34, 35, and 36. I mean, obviously, you're going to rank Wilson 1, Golf 2, Minshew 3, because Wilson's a rookie who everybody thinks will get better and you can trade him for more value. Golf is a starting quarterback, and he'll probably play the poor man's Garoppolo role next year for not near. He'll be actually sorry, poor man's Andy Dalton role for next year, unless the Lions do what I think they should do and draft all other positions and wait one more year of quarterback. And then Minshew, we've seen this movie before. Minshew comes out, kills it. I mean, Hurts is going to be back in 2 weeks after the bye week. But then everybody's going to be clamoring for Minshew. And if for some weird reason he plays, he'll have 3 good games and then he'll just look really cool. So I think that's pretty much it.
Yes, I think Minshew, this could be a trial for Minshew. He might be able to land himself maybe a starting gig next year. There's a couple teams that might need one. I hear Seattle, maybe Pittsburgh, and they're going to need quarterbacks. But Minshew's cool. He's a fun story. So running backs, I'm going to talk about Antonio Gibson first. He had 88 yards. He did have the 5 catches for 23 yards and a touchdown. You got Javonte Williams having a big day finally with Melvin Gordon out. He came through, finally get that full workload. He had 102 yards, 6 catches for 76 yards and a touchdown. He also had a fumble. And then Sony Michel taking over for that Rams backfield. He had 121 yards and a touchdown. He also had 3 catches. Does Sony Michel hurt? He's got to hurt the Henderson role, right? This would be more of a split backfield.
Well, McVay was saying that he believed in Michelle, and I snuck Michelle into one of my DraftKings lineup. By the way, Fantasy Couriers champion of the week, but I snuck him in because he's been talked up as being better because of the points, yards per carry for Henderson has not been that great. The running game's been putrid. So I went through all my leads looking to see if Michelle was there. People still have him stashed on their bench in hopes that Henderson gets hurt, I guess. But yeah, I think he could easily take over the role because Henderson didn't run away with it. Henderson was getting cheap points just by being alive and falling into the big 10-yard green area.
Yes, I mean, like I said, and it's no coincidence that the WFT goes on a winning streak after Gibson. Once they start giving Gibson the ball 20 times a game, it's no coincidence. But we'll see how that continues. And good luck to Jeff with his bold prediction of the Redskins making the Super Bowl or the WFT making the Super Bowl.
Well, he posted on our thread. He's like, "Hey, my picks are still alive." But before, I don't know if you're jumping to wide receiver or not, but I'll tell you, my highlight of the week there is my boy Javonte Williams. Yeah. I have a team, a dynasty team where I'm rebuilding. And I basically, through trades, have almost the entire draft this year. So Javonte Williams is my starting running back, and I've just been waiting for Melvin Gordon to get the heck out of the way. He got out of the way, and Javonte Williams looked really, really good.
Yeah, it's those catches, man. If he's going to be that, 3-down back, I mean, Gordon, if he comes back, he's still going to end up being what it was before. But at least Williams can do it on his own. So
next year will come, positive, right?
Switching over to wide receivers, we got T. Higgins. Another good game. He had 9 catches, 138 yards, and a touchdown. Your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown. Woo! He had 10 catches for 86 yards and a touchdown. Again, Detroit's first win. And Godwin, he had 15 catches for like 140 yards. I mean, that was crazy. So we'll leave Higgins for a little bit later in the show. Godwin, of course, Brady's number 1 target, other than Gronkowski, who just looks like a machine out there. He's just so fun to watch. I'll let you talk about your boy Amon St. Brown. What do you think his ceiling is in fantasy?
I think right now he's in the honeymoon suite of a hotel, and he'll come back down to the regular floor. But he's got talent that's starting to show, and it could be that he just needs a decent quarterback. But he got a lot of the catches there late in the game. I was watching the Dolphins game, had the other one on the red zone, so you didn't see a lot of the Lions game. And it was just cool. Like that last drive everybody went to, I was like, okay, here we go. Maybe they're going to pull it off. I was cheering for him. And then when I saw who scored that touchdown, that was the highlight of my day because I do have love for the Sun God. And I mean, in Detroit, he should be the number one. I mean, unless they sign someone big, they maybe this week they saw, hey, this dude's not too bad. Now he's good. He looks like a possession receiver, which he's built for. That's what he's supposed to be. So if they never get anybody to stretch the field, or I mean, Reynolds looked decent in the role he needed. He was getting 17 per carry, 17.2 per reception. So if they have a couple of guys there and Hawk keeps playing decent, he could end up being like a poor man's Chris Godwin, because Godwin targets everything. I mean, there's a bunch of guys you can lop into that role. You could have thrown in Deontay Johnson, even him and Godwin had the same week, and I had both of them on a team that just went berserk this week. It was
So I
pretty
got
nice.
this week was fun. Man. This is the first actually. I know fantasy is fun every week, but this was actually like the first fun week of fantasy in like 6 or 7 weeks. So yeah, good for that. I mean, if he can be that high target, high volume, or high reception guy, I mean, that's all you really need in fantasy. You don't need a lot of yards. You just need those targets and catches.
Yeah.
Switching over to tight ends, there's only two of them I really want to point out. Kittle, after having one catch, I think last week, he had a big day, 9 catches for 181 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then Dallas Goedert, finally with a quarterback that can throw the ball. He had 6 catches for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was the one that really set off my week. He scored those first 2 quick touchdowns, and I was like, oh, nice. And it just never really slowed down from there. But I feel like this is the kind of game that Kittle should get every week, correct?
You would think, but he'll get hurt next week. So
He can still
I
block,
love
man.
I
He can
love
still
Kittle.
block.
And I traded away him in one of my dynasty, kept him in my other dynasty, and it's what Kittle can do. It's just a matter with him of of staying healthy. So he's a stud. He's a great player. Garoppolo loves him. We'll just have to hope for next year that Trey Lance loves him as well. But yeah, he should get it every week, and it really. But once again, it'll fall upon like the St. Brown thing, unless none of the outside guys are healthy or can catch the ball. Because apparently Brandon Ayuk forgot that football existed. Doesn't know how he's back to the Ayuk we all know and hate, and that's sort of where Kittle's going to set. He could be triple team. He could be the other few weeks ago when we had Hawkinson and Gesicki knocked out. I do have to say that Goddard, if I had played Goddard, I'd had a clean sweep this week.
Yeah.
But I had Goddard and Gesicki, and numbers were saying that, well, they figured Hurts was going to be the quarterback, that Gesicki would get more touches, and he started to get some towards the end. But those 20 points that Goddard got me different would have looked really nice. But, oh well, I'll still get in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's happening. I mean, you can't be right all the time. So you can't have pleasure without a little bit of pain. Uh, we won't spend a lot of time on these guys because these guys are it kind of hurts to talk about. This first guy, I'm gonna bring up Tyrod. Had a bad game, 5 for 13.
Bye, Tyrod.
Yeah, 45
Really?
yards, interception. I like to talk about these two guys when they have bad games. I don't know why. It's just fun for me to talk about. Yeah, Dak Prescott is 238 and 1 touchdown. They just look good sometimes and then look really bad. I don't understand that. And I love bringing up this guy when he has a bad game because he's evidently the greatest quarterback of all times.
He
And
is.
that's Patrick Mahomes. Another bad performance, 184 yards and interception. Of course, when he has bad games, other players around him have bad games. We didn't bring up. Oh, never mind. I'll bring up both of them in a little bit. Won't even have to talk about it. But yeah, and then also Mac Jones with his brilliant performance, 2 for 3. I think that was impressive. I ain't never seen no crap like that. But first, is Tyrod's career as a starting chances with the starting quarterback over?
I don't think it ever started. I think this year if he had been anywhere else in the league except for the Houston Texans, he wouldn't be. Tyrod has been the luckiest. I mean, Tyrod's a NFL quarterback. He's an amazing player. And I remember watching him like at Tech. He was a pretty good college quarterback too, but he just never really adapted well to be. I mean, he's one of the best backups in the league. If I have a team and I need a guy to back up, if we lose Brissett down in Miami, I'd love to have Tyrod there to teach Tua to actually know how to run, or as a great backup. But he's never really been. He was good those years in Buffalo, but every year he's just been usurped by someone. Or I mean, injury got him with Herbert, but he's
Tyrod versus Fitzpatrick. Who's the better backup?
Fitzpatrick. But that's just the beard. I don't even know that they have different skill sets. It depends what you need. I think they're different players, so it depends on your team because you got the pocket passer versus a running quarterback. What your team would need. I think they're that's a good comparison. I'd probably flip a coin, and see what my receivers looked like. Yeah. So I think he's done there, but they're gonna see what they got in Davis Mills. I don't know why, but he's
I mean, if they drafted him, I mean, he was playing. He's shown that he can be in the NFL. Like I said, that team is bad. I don't see a lot of teams or a lot of players being able to play well on that team. They got receivers are bad, running backs are bad. There's no fantasy options there. I mean, there's fantasy,
yeah.
not real life, but fantasy options kind of weigh real life. There's none there. It's really bad. You want to say anything about Mac Jones, your boy, the greatest quarterback ever, real
Yeah, we had a
quick?
conversation before the show on Friday. I was like, in a dynasty league, I would consider trading away Trevor Lawrence for Mac Jones. Not straight up. I said I didn't need more pieces because of value. And then I got on today and said, okay, I'm an idiot. You're going to bust my chops on the show. But it dictates. It's only going to be one game a year where he's not going to be that bad, which I wish he was because I got to play against him next week in a game that could give me a number 1 seed. But I don't think he's going to be that bad again.
Yeah,
He's not going to be in Buffalo.
the weather was really bad. Switching over to running backs, he had Joe Mixon. He had his 54 yards and a touchdown. Not terrible, but very well underperformed. Like bringing up this guy as well, Ezekiel Elliott, another dismal game, 13 for 45. The last 5 games, he just does not look good. He was getting a lot of carries in the beginning of the year, looking real good. 16 carries, I think, in the first 6 or 7 games. And then the last 5, I think his most is 14. He's not getting the touchdowns like he was. Just doesn't look good. And then James Robinson seems to be completely out of the fold here. It's disappointing. I know he had an early fumble. I think he got punished for a little bit for that. But not looking good for J-Rob. Of course, Mixon, we're not worried about him. Elliott, so is there a chance that Elliott and Tony Pollard finish with the same amount of fantasy points the rest of the way?
I wouldn't surprise me a bit. Tony Pollard would have had a pretty bad day, except for that one really long run that is what put him over the top and made him look so much better. But the running game didn't look good at all in general because Tony Pollard hit that really nice hole and just put on the Jets. So I could see that totally. I've been reading some articles where a lot of writers think that Pollard might be the one out the door and Zeke will be the starter next year.
Yeah, nobody's going to trade for that contract. Good luck.
Yeah. Yeah, so I could see that 100%. Pollard will get the catches anyway, so that gives him the more value at the moment. Unless if they're not going to feed Zeke, that's what Zeke is, that guy that needs the carries, like you were saying, to be successful. So if you're not going to feed him, you don't feed the animal doesn't run. That's going to be what you're going to get. I'd say, yeah, mix. I agree with you 100% on Mixon. J-Rob, Urban Meyer's got it. I hate this Belichick theory of if you fumble, you're out for the game. J-Rob fumbled in that first drive. He didn't touch the ball. I want to say it was the third quarter. I was going through that game. It was almost the third quarter, later, maybe even fourth. So he touched the ball again. They let Carlos Hyde just stumble down the field. It was Urban. If a quarterback throws interceptions, it's that whole standard argument. I'm waiting for that cocky coach to start pulling quarterbacks when they throw interceptions. It's the same. That changes the team as well. And some of them are knucklehead, bonehead plays. J-Rob had the best defensive player in the league pull the ball out of his arm. He was pulling, turning, and then boom, there goes the ball. When number 99 pulls at your arm, most of us are going to lose the football.
I might lose my arm.
Yeah, he would tear half of my body off probably. And then Urban Meyer thought he'd get cute because Urban Meyer's such a great coach. And I think coaches got to get over that benching guys for that long. I mean, unless the guy's a total jerk to the team, you can't punish your team for that. He did affect the team, but they're playing the Rams. They weren't going to win. You got to see what you got, so next year how you're going to fit in him and ETN, or if you're going to try to trade him away. I mean, showcase him, get some value if that's what you think's going to happen.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because we all love J-Rob. He's been a great fantasy.
Yeah.
Switching over to wide receiver, so we had Jamar Chase. Has not been good the last few games and had a horrific drop that turned into an interception. It should have been a touchdown. He has 5 catches for 52 yards. Chase Claypool, he had 2 for 52. And then Tyreek Hill, of course, if Pat Mahomes has a bad game, Tyreek Hill's going to have a bad game. Not too worried about Tyreek Hill. He's going to do what Tyreek Hill does most games. But is Chase Claypool just a boomer bust touchdown guy at this point?
He always has been, though. I thought he would turn into something with Juju out because Juju is going to be the possession, so he might still like him and Deontay might split. But yeah, he's boomer bust. I mean, 50 yards isn't garbage, but it's not fantasy what you need in fantasy that you're gonna be excited to play him. But yeah, it's
I agree. So like I said, maybe when they get like a different quarterback, like Ben just doesn't look good. Well, I mean, good for Deontay Johnson. Just kind of like how
when you can't throw more than 5 yards, Deontay Johnson's
kind of
good.
like Russell Wilson with Tyler Lockett. I mean, nobody else is good except Tyler Lockett. I mean,
Yeah.
he had another touchdown, by the way.
What about DK Metcalf?
Oh God. Hey,
That bet is going to be tight.
Hopkins did get his 2 catches though and a touchdown. I think he had like 3 targets, so that's impressive to go with. So while we're speaking of the Cardinals, switching over to tight end, we had Zach Ertz. 1 catch for 10 yards, and then Travis Kelce, he had 3 for 27. Again, not worried about Kelce. Mahomes had a bad game, and then Ertz with Murray, super efficient, only threw the ball 15 times, still landed with 3 touchdowns. The 1 catch is disappointing with Murray coming back. I don't really have much to say about either one of these guys. They're both going to be
you're gonna these are guys you're gonna play. Then the Kelsey will bounce back more than Ertz because Ertz isn't meant to bounce back, and they'll move on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was our pleasure and pain for the weekend. Hopefully, we have a lot of pleasure next week. But with the amount of bye weeks, I had a team where half my team's up. It doesn't happen when you have too many of your Dolphins and Eagles on my teams, apparently. So let's do a quick segment of the best segment of the week. Surefire waste of a touchdown. Let's go to start at Chicago, where there was an 8-yard touchdown catch. It must be another David Montgomery touchdown. No, it's a little guy though. Oh wait, Jakeem Grant with an 8-yard touchdown catch. That is 100%.
Surefire waste of a touchdown. Sorry, I had alarms going off. But didn't Jakeem Grant play for the Dolphins last year? Is that the same guy?
I was trying not to say it. Yeah, he was our punt returner for the last handful of years.
Awesome.
He's got stone hands, so that's why they got rid of him. 44. Let's go to Los Angeles. The Chargers were Keenan Allen was killing it. Well, we'll see what happens this week. By the way, keep an eye on him. He's on the COVID list, but he is vaccinated, so he could get back into the game this week. But 44-yard Keenan Allen. Wait, no, it's not Keenan Allen. Maybe it's Mike Williams. No, wait, Guyton, 44-yard touchdown. It was right in the breadbasket. That is a
surefire waste of a touchdown. That guy does have some plays every now and again. So
he does. Indianapolis. Well, you know who our boy. Of course, I had to play against Taylor this week. He's rolling. touchdown. And then in the fourth quarter, 3-yard Jonathan. Wait, who? Deion Johnson. I think I had him in some dynasty leagues last year. But that is definitely a
surefire waste of a touchdown. You can't even get Marlon Mack in there for a little.
Yeah, that's how terrible he is.
Man.
So let's go. We got to get our Dolphin of the week in. So it looks like Jalen Waddle got a 2-yard. No, it's not Jalen Waddle. Oh, it must be Devontae Parker coming back. Nope. Gesicki. No, wait. Isaiah Ford with a 2-yard touchdown reception. It was a pretty low catch in the front corner of the end zone. That is a
surefire waste of a touchdown. Oh, your boy Devontae Parker looked good with some catches yesterday.
Oh, it made me sick. He had some really nice catches. They were beautiful. I was like, he was playing like he's supposed to. If he does that, he's supposed to be a number 2 though. That's what helps him, I think, as well. In Seattle, your boy DK Metcalf 7-yard. Oh wait, no, Tyler Lockett. No, rookie D Eskridge 7-yard touchdown reception. Unless you're in a dynasty team that JJ Wang might have at some point, because one team can't score 100. That is a
surefire waste of a touchdown. There was a lot of hype on that guy coming out. Let's be interesting to see what happens to him.
Let's go to Atlanta. We have a 17-yard rushing touchdown for Cordero Pat. No, wait, who is this guy? It says Mikey Davis. No, Mike Davis, 17-yard touchdown run. Congratulations. But that is definitely a
surefire waste of a touchdown. Like I said, if that wasn't a waste, I feel bad for you. You're in trouble.
Dude, if he didn't get that 17-yard touchdown, he had the 32 total yards on 4 carries. So your team is dumpstered. So as we close out the week, we got 3 pickups that we're going to go through fairly quickly so you can get on with your day, get to work, have a great waiver wire night. The first one, if you have Adam Thielen and for some reason KJ Osborne is on your on your waiver wire, bid on him because they're going to pass. Thielen was getting the numbers, and until Thielen's there, luckily I have him as my insurance for Thielen retiring in my dynasty league. Pick him, grab him because they're going to quadruple team Justin Jefferson now, and I think he's going to be a beneficiary off of the scrap heap. Russell Gage has decided the last 2 weeks to play football and look like he's supposed to. I haven't heard anything about Calvin Ridley. He's eligible to come back, but I don't think I think he's done for the year, especially because they're bad.
It's disappointing.
But Gage is getting some reception, so it's the Gage Patterson show maybe the rest of the way. Would you grab him if he was there and you needed a receiver?
I mean, if you needed a receiver, I mean, why not? I mean, they're obviously not throwing it to Kyle Pitts, so
I'm glad I have Kittle in that league.
And honestly, the last few games, they haven't even been throwing to Cordell to Patterson. He's been primarily a running back, which has been a little disappointing. So yeah, I mean, if he's on the waiver wire, he's got to be on the team.
And the last waiver pickup, you sort of pick your poison. And we lifted them last week. We left them last week because they were on bye this week. But the Tennessee backfield, Ryan Tannehill last week threw for a whopping 93 yards, but the backfield ran for 240. Dontrell Hilliard had 12 for $131, but he had that really, really long, 60, 70 yard rushing touchdown. And Deonta Foreman was the horse with 19 for 109. Where would you, obviously, probably, I think we pick up Foreman first, and then would you play Hilliard in a flex?
Like I said, I think Hilliard is more of a desperation play. You're looking for that long touchdown. I mean, he played well if he didn't have a touchdown, but you're only looking at like 60 yards. But Foreman's the more of that volume guy. I think he'll get all the goal line carries, which is, so if you're the volume guy and you get the goal line carries, that's kind of where you want to be. So I go with Foreman, and he looked good last game.
Yeah, and I think he's auditioning for a role because this is the Foreman we thought we'd get years ago in the dynasty community, and we didn't. And I thought Hilliard coming in was supposed to be the pass catching guy, and they both were pretty putrid. Each had 1 for 3 for Foreman, 2 for Hilliard. So yeah.
So I'm going to bring up one guy real quick. Ooh, I mean, most two quarterback leagues, quarterbacks are so valuable. Jake Fromm.
I knew it was coming.
Going to get some run for New York. I think Jones is out for a couple weeks. So, I mean, this could be kind of like an audition. So if he plays well, maybe there's a chance. So he's just like every other quarterback. As soon as he starter, he becomes very valuable. So if you needed a quarterback, most likely in a dynasty league, I don't see too many people picking up and playing Jake. Well,
if your starting quarterbacks are like Tua and Carson Wentz,
yeah.
If you didn't plan well, like some people here.
But yeah, so just keep an eye out for him. Weekly wisdom, I really don't have much, but just remember to continue to set your lineup, because if you're not setting your lineup, it also affects the outcome of the league as well. It really hurts other teams when you're giving away free wins at the end of the year. It's just not the time to do that. Really no time to do that. So just remember, even if you're 0-12, still set your lineup, because it affects more than just you're not wanting to set your lineup. So and remember, as always, trust yourself and trust the process.